Hi, welcome to this tutorial on using emojis in Google Classroom and Google Drive. So Google Classroom and Google Drive, they work effectively the same way as some of those products like Docs and Slides. But you might use them a little differently as teachers in terms of organization. So this is more about highlighting your emojis or using them as a tool for organization or to draw attention to something versus maybe where you would integrate them in an assignment like in Docs or Slides, things like that. So I'm going to flip over here to the classwork tab. This is inside Google Classroom. You see here I've created some topics inside of Google Classroom. If you're not familiar with topics, they're effectively like sections or headings for specific things. So I've created like a math, reading, world history, but I've also then come in here and I've actually added emojis as part of the heading, kind of a visual way to attract folks to that. So when you create a topic, let's say we come in here, I'm going to create a new topic. Maybe we call this one, we're going to do science. And so again, I can go ahead and I'm going to use the right click option in this, and I can do emoji there. I can also, if I want to, I can come up here and I can open my extension, and I'm going to do a quick search, starting to type science. Let's see, what do I like? Maybe this DNA strand here. So it gets copied. Now notice there, it actually pasted it into the back. Let's say maybe that I don't want that there. Remember, it's text, so I can actually do like a Control X to cut it, and then I could paste it at the front if I wanted. Remember that emojis are effectively text, so you can move them around like you would with text. There you see then I've got the old double helix as part of my science heading. You can also use those for assignments. So you see here, I've got this Casey at the bat assignment that I have. So I can actually insert those emojis into the titles or directions. I know a lot of people like to use them to draw people's attention to instructions like a 1, 2, and a 3, or like fire to remember, this is hot, remember, this is what you're supposed to do. So in terms of organization, there are some options there for Google Classroom. Kids can also use them as responses in text boxes. So if you are using like the discussion question feature in Google Classroom, kids can use that as part of their text response. Or maybe it's a question. Maybe you want to ask a question with emojis. I know some of those reading articles had different ideas for integration and those things with emojis. So maybe that's a tool also you could use. We're going to flip over to Google Drive here. Emojis are used as organization tools a lot in Google Drive. So you'll see here, I've got like my list, or I've got some folders here, and I've got some things there. If you're somebody, I'm going to switch this to list view. Actually, we'll just do this here. So you can see here's a whole list of folders in my drive. So I've got a whole bunch of folders. They are automatically alphabetized, starting with numbers and then all the way down through. Let's say I've got a folder that I want to access all the time, or I want to always show up at the top, and it's at the bottom. So let's say I come down here, there's an old high school. So I'll come in here. I can actually come in here. I'm right clicking. I'm going to rename, and this is where you can also do some color changing of the folders. If you saw that, you can also change your colors. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename this folder. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do the right click. I'll use the emoji on this one. This is going to pull up my emoji keyboard. And so I'll just use this one that we have here. And I'll do that. Notice that it immediately moves that folder all the way to the top of my list, because emojis are special characters that are recognized before numbers or letters in terms of alphabetizing. So if you have some folders that you want to always have at the top of your list in Google Drive, I'm going to switch this back out of my list view. I like the tile view. But notice then it still is there. Now it appears at the front. So you could put any special folders or things that you wanted with those emojis, or maybe you don't care about alphabetizing them and you just want to dress them up with emojis that represent that. Again, if I remove that emoji, so if I come back here now and I take out that emoji, just did that by pressing the delete or the backspace key, it returns back to its original location. So using those for that is a good option as well. Flipping back over to Google Classroom, the last thing I want to show you is a lot of people like to do student feedback. So if I come in here to this assignment, this hasn't been turned in yet, but I could come in here and I could also use emojis in my private comments. Down here, I could use those from my extension or from my right click. I also have access to my emojis there. But also a lot of people, you have the comment bank here in Google Classroom. A lot of folks like to use their emojis. I just pasted that one because it's one I knew was there, using their emojis inside their comment bank. And so maybe it's some text with an emoji on it, or maybe you just want to use emojis as some of your student feedback. So that's another option inside Google Classroom, as well as using those emojis for student feedback. Thanks.